Hi, I'm Kurt Beer. Most of you might know me as Peabody66 on YouTube. Anyway, March 20th, 2030 will mark 10 years to the day since the start of the war in Iraq. And I'm making this video to express my thoughts on it. Anyway, I was 16 years old when it first started. And I was 25 when it ended. Now, I want to make this very short, because I know what the time limits are. I don't want to spend too much time talking. I can remember, back in 2002, the President of the United States at that time, George W. Bush, and members of his administration were trying to lay out a case to invade Iraq. Well, they said it wasn't an invasion, it was a continuation of the ceasefire agreement, the United Nations mandate back in 1991. That if Saddam Hussein didn't comply with weapons exporters, that they'll take whatever action necessary to disarm him after the 1991 Gulf War. Now, the Bush administration claimed that Saddam Hussein was making chemical and biological weapons, and they also claimed more than anything that Saddam Hussein was stockpiling nuclear weapons, and that they had evidence to support this. They wanted, back then it seemed as if they wanted to go to war with Iraq right away, but under pressure from the United Nations, they decided to allow weapons inspectors to go into Iraq. And this must have been in January of 2003. But October the year before, the Bush administration got authorization from the US Congress to use military force against Iraq if Iraq didn't comply. I have to admit, I was a supporter of this effort to remove Saddam Hussein, because if you really check it out, Saddam Hussein wasn't a saint. You all know that. He was a very brutal dictator, and he really oppressed his people. Now, also, the piece of evidence the Bush administration put forth, which was pretty convincing, was that Saddam Hussein's Iraq had close ties to terrorists like Al-Qaeda, and that Saddam Hussein was somehow responsible for September 11th. And this accusation was being pushed by the media, the US media. And I think that the reason why many Americans were supportive of the war at first was because of the accusation that Saddam Hussein somehow was responsible for September 11th. During the time, the U.S. were deploying troops in Middle East and training them for eventful military action against Iraq. Now, between January and March 2003, the weapons inspectors in Iraq basically found nothing, no chemical and no biological weapons. But during this time, the Bush administration were trying their hardest to convince people that military action was necessary, and there's strong opposition to that military action. There are a lot of protesters in and outside the United States who are against this invasion of Iraq. Now, I have to admit, I feel that they were wrong to protest, given the fact that September 11 just happened and that was devastating. Well, how they could protest against the Bush administration, knowing that what they went through, well, at least what the Americans went through on September 11. In March 2003, the Bush administration convinced the United Nations to remove all weapons inspectors from Iraq, and George W. Bush made an announcement on national television saying that Saddam Hussein and his sons have 48 hours to leave Iraq or face military action. Now, 48 hours pass, and Saddam Hussein and his sons did not go into exile, and on March 20th, the United States, along with Great Britain and a small number of European countries, launched this military invasion of Iraq. And after 3 weeks, the U.S. military reached Baghdad and pulled down Saddam Hussein's statue. I was glad that this thing was over, but in months to follow, I started to realize that maybe this invasion wasn't the right way to go. Maybe they should have never had done this in the first place, because as in months to follow, the U.S. military didn't find weapons of mass destruction, despite the fact that the Bush administration claimed that they knew exactly where they were, like in what cities or towns, but the U.S. military was there for months and they didn't come across such a thing. And this plan by the Bush administration to install democracy as a means of governance. I saw that as some form of colonialism in a way. I mean, how can you force a system of government on people who never really asked for it in the first place? This is the kind of thing that happened in the colonial days. And I saw that as imperialism. even though I'm a Trini, the number of American soldiers that are dying in these small insurgent attacks was kind of concern for me, especially given the fact that in March of 2003, despite the fact that these attacks were continuing, the Bush administration declared mission accomplished and major combat over. A years to follow. In my view, I feel the United States was trying to force democracy upon the Iraqi people. That the Americans were determined that the Iraqis would adopt democracy whether they liked it or not. In my view, that's imperialism. If you disagree with me, I have no problem with that. But slowly it began to be revealed that Saddam Hussein probably never had weapons of mass destruction at the time of the invasion, and it became very obvious that Saddam Hussein had no ties to Al-Qaeda or was any way responsible for September 11. Slowly I began to realize, I'm sure many Americans began to realize that this war was built on, the case of war was built on half-truths and lies. Years to follow, the American soldiers began to die in record numbers, all for the sake of installing democracy in Iraq. Something that has never been experimented before. At the time of December 2011, 500 American servicemen would die, all for the sake of trying to build a democracy out of Iraq. Around the first year of the war, it became very obvious that the Bush administration had no plans to rebuild Iraq after Saddam Hussein's fall, and that they didn't have enough troops to do it. But in retrospect, it looked as if they are rushing into Iraq. Personally, I don't think that the Bush administration treated the war in Afghanistan with the same kind of urgency like they did with Iraq, and that probably had to do because Iraq had natural resources like oil, and Afghanistan in it didn't. I feel that in 2001 that the Bush administration went to Afghanistan half-heartedly, as opposed to how they went into Iraq. Now, when I look at stuff at what happened in Iraq, those 8 years or so, what good really came out of Iraq? Was it really worth it? Those Iraqi civilians went through years of civil war and sectarian violence and corruption. The new government of Iraq, in my view, is very corrupt. And personally, I don't think there's any difference between new government and Saddam Hussein. by which Hussein was executed in 2006 after a war crimes tribunal. I want to know, was all those civilian deaths worth this foreign experience, this wild experience by the Bush administration? Think about it. Look, those Americans, half of those 4,500 Americans, servicemen went to Iraq thinking they were going to avenge September 11. And those, and tens of thousands of American servicemen would come home from Iraq with their limbs blown off and post-traumatic and suffering through post-traumatic stress disorder. For what? Seriously, for what? And those long tours of duties basically turned those American servicemen into monsters, taking out their frustrations upon the Iraqi civilians and whatnot. They would lose, those American servicemen went to Iraq and would lose their minds, half of their bodies, and their comrades, and their morals and the humanity. For what? What their American servicemen would serve all 2 and 3 and 4 tours of duty in Iraq. Seriously, what do they have to show for those long tours of duty? In my personal opinion, nothing. Slowly, it was revealed that this war in Iraq was a part of this policy by the neoconservatives in the Bush administration, who's trying to spread democracy through military action, as if all the neighboring Arab countries will look towards Iraq as some kind of inspiration to want democracy, as if what it was hoping like what happened in Soviet-dominated Europe will happen in the Middle East, and plus they wanted to strengthen Israel's position in the Middle East. If you ask me, this war in Iraq and other policies that the Bush administration put forward towards the Middle East basically isolated and weakened Israel's position in the Middle East. If the United States invaded Iraq on Israel's behalf, if Israel was so concerned about Iraq, why didn't the Israelis invade Iraq? The Bush administration wanted to help Israel so bad when it comes to Iraq. Now, I'm not anti-Semite, I'm not anti-Jewish, but if I recall clearly, the Israeli government never lifted a finger to help America and their war efforts in Afghanistan, or in Iraq for that matter, or when it came to hunting terrorists in the Middle East, or in Pakistan, where they killed Osama bin Laden. In my personal view, this war in Iraq was a recruiting tool for terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda. And the biggest majority of those neoconservatives in the Bush administration never served in the military or even served on the front lines. They are what you call chicken hawks. And all all the Bush administration supporters and all the supposedly were viciously attacking those people who are against the war in Iraq, trying to give them pointers on military affairs when most of those people who are supporting war in Iraq, especially on Fox News, never served in the military or even have relatives serve in the military, and they will encourage their relatives, their young relatives, to serve in the military or serve in our war efforts. They'd much rather other people's children do that just to further their ideology. And that's messed up in my opinion. Now, the war in Iraq is over, but I think that war in Iraq, because of that stupid war in Iraq, that unjust war, that immoral war, that unprovoked war, may have had negative effects on the American warfare in Afghanistan, because all the resources that were put in Afghanistan were shifted to Iraq, and making things much difficult for the Americans in Afghanistan. And those same conservatives who are supported by you in Iraq now saying that America should pull out of Afghanistan. But they were the same ones who were saying that if you pull out of a war situation, you'll abet the enemy and you'll put America at more risk for terrorism and whatnot. Ultimately, what made them change their minds all of a sudden when it comes to Iraq? I mean, when it comes to Afghanistan. So, I hope in this new decade that neither the new president Barack Obama would do something stupid like invade Iran, because they claim that Iran have stockpiled nuclear weapons. I mean, who is the United States to tell people who should have nuclear weapons and who shouldn't when they themselves have nuclear weapons? I hope whoever becomes president in 2016 that they won't surround themselves with neoconservatives and do something stupid like invade and occupy Iran, because nothing good going in out of trying to topple Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Trust me, you have Iraq to look to as a warning, and the Americans to try their best not to get themselves into a situation where they have to occupy a sovereign nation, and that their sons and daughters, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters will be thrown away their lives unnecessarily for an ideology and a messed up policy. So as tragic as it was for 4,500 U.S. servicemen and women and countless coalition forces and countless civilians to die, I personally think it was not worth it at all. And nothing good came out of the war in Iraq. I feel those who are pushing for an invasion in Iraq will have to be called to account one day, if not in this life, in the next life. Why do you think George he pushes avoiding all television interviews? Because he knows very well people call him out on what he did in Iraq. But one day he have to answer. I may sound harsh, but that's how life is. So, if anybody come across this video, share your thoughts. I know it's probably hard for you to understand what I'm saying, but I'm not American. I'm not really a loudspeaker. So, you can put for a video response and comment on YouTube, or if possible on Facebook.